A quorum of board members is present. This meeting has been duly called and a notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Thank you all for joining us. We are going to start off our meeting with our board workshop. We'll have our 2017 bond project update by Mr. Jarrett. Come on up. And Kurt. 2 for 1.
All right. So the first project we're going to talk about is Charter Oak Elementary School off of Poison Oak Road. Just to, kind of recap, it's 80,000 square feet to serve about 800 students. There's about 30 different classrooms in there. And over the last month, there's been a lot of progress that's happened on the site. So when we met last time, we talked about how the masonry was beginning to go up around the exterior walls, that we had interior framing going on, and that they had put some of the roofing materials on the 4th and 5th and 3rd grade classroom areas. In this last month, basically they've got all the framing coming around the front of the building, so we actually can see the main entrance in the top photo here. You can see to the right side, we have the cafeteria, then we have the main entrance in the middle, and then to the left, we have the admin suite. And if we kind of look down to the aerial photo here, everything basically from the gymnasium all the way up north roofing has been completed. They've got the starting portions on the cafeteria and the library. And then on the interior is really where we're seeing a lot of the progress happening over the last month, is that the interior walls are going up, but they're actually beginning to articulate with some of the architectural features. So we have along the main corridor, we have a wall that kind of undulates along, and then we have some areas where you actually pop in where students will be able to engage themselves between the different spaces. And you can see they'll be able to come in here, sit. There's going to be a bench along this area right here that they'll be able to sit, look into the gymnasium, and vice versa into the hallway space. So over the next month, we'll see the masonry finished because they've gone from basically the 2nd grade wing all the way around the building, and they're just finishing up around the gymnasium, and the last portion will be the main entrance. And so in the next month, hopefully we'll have a great photo with everything shown of the masonry across the front of the building with the stone. The curbs and gutters for all the roads have been put in, and so we're going to see a lot of progress over the next month and a half. Are there any questions?
Is it all dried in now? I was out there.
The last portion, I think, is actually and the main entrance that they're finishing that storefront. They have all the windows around the rest of the perimeter of the building already in. So the next project is the small project, the high school. So last time we talked, we looked at the aerial photos, and you see a lot of dirt, and you see some of the concrete slabs. So to point out, this bottom left photo down here is the orchestra pit. We had the retaining wall that goes between the upper and lower levels, so orchestra pit's right here. We have the retaining wall here, orchestra pit and the retaining wall. Right here, we have all the tilt wall panels that had been poured but hadn't been erected. And so over the last month, we're actually beginning to see a building. So we look where all those tilt wall panels were. That is actually the gymnasium. So they have all those up. They've already started putting the joists going across the structure there. On the lower section, they have started the metal framing on the classroom wing down here over on this side, and they continue to pour slabs. I believe we've done 6 or 7 slabs, and I think we have about 6 or 7 more, it seems. This last weekend, actually, they moved out to the football area, and they actually have poured the slab for the football concession building. So they're beginning to make progress on the athletics portions of the site now also, as they've been focusing on the main education portions of the building. And honestly, the next month is pretty much going to be about the same. A lot of slabs going up and a lot of structural steel is going to be erected. So, are there any questions?
How bad was the schedule hurt with the monsoons?
Good question.
We've got plenty of time left to make up any issues we have right now. So
In general, I'd really applaud both contractors. They've really worked hard to, the rain over the last 6 weeks of not letting it impact their schedule as much as possible, so. Great. Well, thank you all for your time.
Well, thank
today.
you, I appreciate that. Thanks for the update. Okay. Next, we have an attendance boundary update, Dr. Kincannon and Michelle from Temple Demographics.
Yes, I asked Michelle if she would review the map set A and the map set E with you all this evening. Those are the two maps that the committee has narrowed down to at this point, and just to make sure we all understand the differences between those two maps, and then address anything else you want to, Michelle.
Absolutely. Thank you again. My name is Michelle Box. I've been fortunate to be able to be a part of the committee so far. And just to kind of update you since I saw you last, the committee had to wade through, we had 5 sets of maps for them that we created due to their input, different questions that they had, different ways that they wanted to see different plans. So this last committee, we actually finished up our thought exchange. So we did a public input within the committee, an anonymous input to help them really hone in on what the most important priorities for them were between selecting from these 5 maps. And what we saw overwhelmingly in 9 of the top 10 thoughts from this thought exchange was that the committee wanted the boundaries to last for 5 years minimum. So they were very quickly able to narrow in on plans A and plans E, those are the most efficient maps that they deemed that did that the best. We also did see from the thought exchange that creating pure feeder patterns from elementary to middle school, for about 62% of the committee, that was not the top priority for them. That they were willing to see a little bit of splits from elementary to middle school, which is evident in both of these maps, while we were able to preserve middle to high school feeder patterns. So no one will be split from middle to high school, but at the elementary level, just due to the number of elementary schools you have and the number of middle schools you have, there does require a little bit of splitting from the middle school, or from the elementary to the middle school. One thing that the thought exchange did show was that this Lakewood hook, we keep referring to it as the hook, it's the portion that is currently Lakewood Elementary zoned in kind of right off of Sparta. It's in the southern port, south of the lake. That Lakewood hook had support from the committee, pretty split actually, to go both into the northern feeder pattern and into the southern feeder pattern. So this is where the main difference between sets of plans A and plan E really are honed in on. It's really just comes down to that Lakewood split area and how the committee and now the public going forward wants to handle that split. So starting with plan A, and I believe you have these in your packet, this is the plan A. So this shows that High Point, which was unchanged from its current boundary, Tarver and part of Pirtle Elementary School in the north section here will all feed into North Belton Middle School, which would then feed into the new Lake Belton High School. Lakewood Elementary, again, unchanged boundary in Lakewood. The northern part of the new Charter Oak boundary, and the remainder part of Pirtle Elementary would feed into Lake Belton Middle School. And anything north of the Leon River then would create that northern Lake Belton Middle School, or Lake Belton High School feeder pattern. In the south, we'll have Sparta, the southern part of Charter Oak, Southwest Elementary, and Leon Heights feeding into Belton Middle School. And then we'll have Chisholm Trail and Miller Heights, which Miller Heights was unchanged as well from its current boundary, feeding into South Belton Middle School. And this is in our Plan A scenario. So some of the positives on this, again, we were able with this plan to balance the enrollment for 5 years. We do preserve pure feeder patterns from middle school to high schools. We do use natural boundary lines, and we keep neighborhoods together. One challenge was that we were not able to preserve the pure elementary to middle school feeders, but again, 62% of the committee deemed that that wasn't as important as making sure we balance that enrollment. And then the high school economically disadvantaged difference is about 20 to 25% between the northern and the southern feeder patterns. So one thing that we are looking at this time in the map set, we have the middle school. So this is the forecast report. Here you can see that the biggest challenge is going to be at the Chisholm Trail Elementary Zone, preserving it for 5 years. This plan does, with carving off a section into Sparta, this section here that is currently zoned to Charter Oak, or is currently zoned to Chisholm Trail, will be transferring into Sparta in this plan. We are able to make the Chisholm Trail Elementary Zone last for 5 years. That's the biggest challenge right now because that's one of the fastest growing elementary zones that you have. You can see Sparta does appear to be a little bit over capacity in this enrollment forecast. However, we think we were able to balance that with transfers. You have a high number of transfers going into that school at this time, especially the bilingual programs, that's something we're able to adjust just in our program changes. So here's the middle school. That's how the middle school will then look. Again, we start to see our high school feeder patterns emerge along the Leon River here. Ooh, test of the steady hand. Leon River there, between the north and the south feeder patterns for our high school. One area that we are going to be listening to the community input in going forward is going to be in the South Belton Middle School attendance zone. The area directly around South Belton and the Southwest Elementary Zone is currently in this plan feeding into Belton Middle School. And this was purely a numbers game. This plan does have Belton Middle School and South Belton Middle School at pretty much exactly the same enrollment. The area right around South Belton Middle School, we're looking at an area with about 150 current middle school students that there is a desirability to let them be able to walk to school. There's a walkability in that neighborhood that we want to hear the community impact going forward and see what they have to say in the public forums going forward. So I'm just kind of fronting that this is an area that we may be looking at allowing some more walkability or adjusting this boundary slightly to let those students be able to walk to their nearby campus.
There are some options for that that we looked at with Michelle. I know Kevin Taylor, principal at South Belton, expressed some concerns. And we could do a swap with Miller Heights going to Belton Middle and those students going to South Belton Middle. But we thought we would wait and hear the feedback from the community. And then we would talk to the committee about it on January the 7th, prior to making a recommendation to the board.
Yes, so that's something that, yes, as Dr. King had said, the public will really be able to provide some feedback, and then we could go back and run any additional plans with the committee before making a final recommendation. And here is the proposed high school plan for Lake Belton and Belton High Schools. Again, those enrollments are fairly close, growing at a very similar pace. So we'll have some pretty balanced high schools once the Lake Belton High School does reach 9 through 12. Those forecasts are for a 9 through 12 enrollment. And then the second plan that the committee voted on was Plan E. The main difference is really just that Lakewood hook again. So this plan, instead of having that Lakewood hook feed into Lakewood Elementary and then down into Belton Middle School and Belton High School, this plan allows that Lakewood hook to continue to feed with the remainder of the Lakewood Elementary Zone. It would then feed into Lake Belton Middle School and then Lake Belton High School. The elementary maps are going to be completely identical, so those numbers are going to look the same. And the difference is really in middle school. So we're just talking about this section here that would then remain in Lake Belton Middle School. And at this time,
Lake Belton High School.
yes, and Lake Belton High School. And at this time, this is a swing of about 40 middle school students and about 70 high school students. So this is an area that the committee was split on. So because it doesn't impact as many for the enrollment, the total enrollment of those schools, each campus can handle those additional students. So this was an area that we thought it would be best to let the community decide and hear the community input from the public forums going forward. And so there it would be part of Lake Belton High School in Plan E. So any questions about those plans or anything about the public meetings going forward?
Can you just speak to how the committee came up with those particular maps? You know, what the highlights were for these as opposed to the rest of them?
Yeah, absolutely. So they were allowed to vote. Each committee member was given choices, multiple dots, correct? So they were able to go and place their votes on the different maps out of the set of 5. The set of 5 was then limited to 3, and then they voted on the 3 to create these 2. And again, we just kept hearing that the most important thing to them was the balancing the enrollment in 5 years and really utilizing the capacity at each of those campuses as best as we can. And so they felt that these 2 maps did that the most efficiently.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other
Anyone else
questions?
have any questions?
Do you all have any feedback at this point? Any thoughts, questions?
I mean, I've got more questions than I have answers right now, right? I mean, for me, what I'm most interested in hearing about at the public forums is really the main difference in the map is where the hook goes, right? And so if we have the capability to keep the students together, why would we split them, right, intentionally, right? And so I haven't come to grips with that one yet, but so I'm ready to hear what the conversation is. Yeah.
Yeah, I have an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it, right? I mean, it's keeping them together. There's also transportation
Right.
issues around that, right? So,
That's been my thing about the hook is if I had a choice to whether I want my 17-year-old daughter and my next one coming up driving over the dam twice a day or driving down the street to the old high school, I think that's a pretty easy choice for me as a parent. That's kind of been my biggest thing. Plus, the cities are kind of the boundary now between the two maps, and that hook, Belton City intertwines all the way through it. So if it goes north, it'll be the only Belton City kids going to the new high school. Those are the things I've been hearing people talk about that are talking about the map.
Anybody else?
Okay. Reserving judgment
Reserving judgment.
until you hear from the
That's
community.
awesome.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, I think we're good. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Michelle. We're all good there. Thank you, Dr. Kincannon. At this time, the board is going to go into closed session. We're going under Texas Government Code subchapters D and E, consultation with attorney, Texas Government Code Section 551.071, and deliberations about real property, Texas Government Code Section 551.072. It is 6:11, excuse me. We will reconvene in open session. We will start off the hour with recognitions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jordan. Unfortunately, our first recognition isn't able to be here with us this evening. Something came up for her, but I was going to ask Rachel still to show you her poster. This Belton New Tech High School at Wasco freshman Shivangi Oja's submission to the Texas School Bus Safety Poster Contest won first place in the Division III age group and took overall best of show, advancing her poster to the national competition. Shivangi should be familiar to those on the board because she has competed in this competition since third grade and has always been in the final group that gets to advance. Unfortunately, this is the last year that she got to compete, so we really wanted to thank her on behalf of the Belton ISD Transportation Department. They've really appreciated her efforts, and as you can see, her artwork is pretty outstanding.
Wonderful. She's not here, but let's give her a hand of applause here.
Thank you.
Pretty awesome.
Good evening. So we're excited tonight. We got a couple educators. First up, we have Misty Norwood. She's being recognized. Come on up, Misty, and her principal, Julie Manley. Misty's being recognized by the Belton Rotary Club. She is in her 18th year in education and her 15th year with Belton. She's a special ed teacher at Sparta Elementary. And Miss Norwood serves all students, but mostly she helps students who have gaps in their learning or other special needs. She's a team player who's eager to work with her colleagues for the betterment of students. She's even teamed up with another teacher to create a motor lab where students can take a sensory break from activities and prepare them for the next learning activity. Julie Manley, principal at Sparta, stated that Misty works tirelessly to get to know each student and works closely with classroom teachers to make sure they know how to best serve each student. This takes time, commitment, communication, and patience. Misty is a huge asset to Sparta, and I am so thankful for her service. So congratulations. All right, and for our Temple Rotary Club Educator of the Month, we have Emily Payne and her principal, Michelle Tisch. Emily is a Title I teacher at Tarver Elementary. She's in her 14th year in education. All of those years are with Belton ISD. Ms. Payne has a passion for math that she shares with her students. She is knowledgeable of standards and curriculum for all grade levels as she serves K through 5 to fill gaps that may exist. Emily can be found volunteering to assist her colleagues in providing model lessons in their classrooms as she's eager to share her in-depth knowledge with others. Michelle Tisch, principal at Tarver, stated, Emily regularly and willingly takes on extra assignments to assist students, teachers, and our school. She's a valued member of the Tarver staff. So congratulations.
Next up is our Big Red Community Partner of the Month. Alongside many of our district's outstanding history or social studies teachers, the Bell County Museum is a significant resource and partner in delivering engaging and innovative learning opportunities for our students at all grade levels. From field trips through exhibits at the museum to special museum trunk presentations made on campus, students are experiencing history in a fun and exciting way. An example of a trunk presentation includes the special Election Day lesson that was held at Pirtle Elementary for all third graders that covered the 3 branches of government and involved students in a mock election last week. And I would say the results were pretty close to what the actual state election for our U.S. Senator looked like. The museum works with the district year-round in partnering in professional development for teachers and participating in summer camp activities. Representing the Bell County Museum for this month's recognition is Education Coordinator Katie Ricketts. Thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Next up, we have public comments. I don't see that anyone has signed up. Is that correct, Ms. Burns? Thank you. That's awesome. Oh, okay. All righty then.
Bring it over here.
We'll just move on over here. That didn't look like mine. The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Does any board, are we going to get through this?
Yes.
Does any board member want any items pulled for further discussion? We good? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed. Thank you, Mr. Taggart, for first, and the second by Ms. Lee. All approved, all hands, thank you. All approved unanimously. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Now that I've gotten out of her chair. Just saying.
All right, we do have a few pictures for you. With today being a holiday for our students, our school celebrated Veterans Day over the last several school days to honor our veterans who served so honorably in the military. So some of the activities that were included in this was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed this. Was an invitation to lunch at North Belton Middle School for veterans and active duty military personnel. During lunch assemblies, Fort Hood's Non-Commissioned Officer Academy presented their historical color guard ceremony, I Am Sergeant. It was pretty special with all the military uniforms through the years. It featured in a story that was told, and it was very well done. I was very impressed by that. There was a performance of the Belton High School Magical at the Belton Senior Center. There was a special event at Belton New Tech High School at Wasco called Share Your Service Day for veterans and those currently serving to share their experiences with students during English and history classes. Take a Vet to School Day was held at South Belton Middle School. Really special event that has it was the seventh annual Take a Vet to School Day at South Belton Middle School. It just keeps getting better and better every year. Go back one. Mr. Minnick on the right served in World War II and the Korean War. I'm going to get it wrong, Kevin. And Vietnam. And then on the left-hand side there, Mr. Alston served, was in Pearl Harbor and shared his story about being in Pearl Harbor. Prior to the assembly, there was a breakfast where State Representative Hugh Shine greeted all of the veterans and students who were with their, mostly parents. It was really sweet, kids and their parents. And then after the assembly, many of the veterans stayed and spoke to students in their classrooms. Really special time. Appreciate Sue and Janet for joining us for that event. It was really lovely. a very moving event. Tarver Elementary held their annual flagpole. There's Della Parks. That's at South Belton again. One of our teachers. This was one of the neatest. This was a new addition this year. It was really neat to see our teachers who are veterans being honored. And I was surprised by how many. Custodians, cafeteria workers, and teachers. And I believe there were 16 to 20 in that group. So it was a very large group, and the art students framed a poem for them, and it was very nicely done. That's one of our teachers, Della Parks. Tarver's flagpole assembly was held again to recognize veterans, and there was a patriotic performance there. At Pirtle Elementary, veterans and active duty service members were invited to eat lunch with students. I may not have a picture for all of them. And as you may have seen in the telegram, Chisholm Trail Elementary students wrote letters to veterans to be delivered to the VA. Did you happen to catch the kindergarten letter that was featured in the telegram? It was a really cute story that was written and really neat. At High Point Elementary, veterans were invited to be special guest readers for students. And I just want to thank our principals and our teachers who provided some really great experiences for our students in helping them honor veterans, and happy Veterans Day. Anybody want any comments or questions about Veterans Day? I know we probably missed some, but lots of great things all across the district. So since the kids were off today, the teachers had professional development, and there were sessions all across the district focused on our priorities for this year. There's Joe Brown, learning Stop the Bleed. Elementary campuses participated in sessions on instructional rounds, our bridges, emergency behavioral training, writing strategies, and/or social emotional learning. Middle school campuses, along with Belton New Tech High School at Wasco, Miller Heights and Beck's employees and administration employees participated in the citizens' response to active shooter events over at the Fine Arts Center this morning. And there's Officer Torres, who did a really nice job with that. And then we had Stop the Bleed safety training sessions in addition to some other campus-specific trainings. This is our non-certified CPR training that was held recently. So we have asked that all of our employees receive non-certified CPR, Stop the Bleed, and the CRAZE training. And principals are working those into staff development sessions and then after-school sessions with the goal of getting those completed as soon as possible. So we're really working towards that. At the high school, our Belton High School staff participated in a variety of sessions, including higher level thinking, instructional rounds, digital learning, and instructional strategies. So it was a really good day all across the district. It was a good day for the kids to sleep in too, huh? With the rain and cold. Attendance boundary public forums are set for December the 4th, the 10th, and the 13th at 6:30 p.m. And those will be held over at the Pittenger Fine Arts Center. At these meetings, we will display the attendance boundary maps under consideration. We'll answer questions from community members and provide an opportunity for attendees to offer input on Map Set A and Map Set E. This is a graphic that Elizabeth and her team has designed, which I believe will be in the newspaper. So we'll be getting the word out about these forums via social media, the website, and in the newspaper. We will not post those as board meetings. However, I do encourage you to attend one or all of those meetings so that you can see what those are like and hear some of that feedback firsthand. PEAM snapshot data. Just to recap, our enrollment for this year officially was 11,883 students. That's 354 more students than last year. Our economically disadvantaged rate is 45.4%. 6.3% of our students are English proficient. 7.9% of our students are military connected. 52.5% of our students are white. 33.6% Hispanic. 6.6% African American. 4.3% two or more races, and 2% Asian. We didn't change drastically in any area. We look pretty much the same, only with more kids. And so those were the numbers that were submitted to the state. And we didn't grow as much as we expected, but we did grow quite a bit at 354. And then finally, our fall update presentations. Each fall, my team and I will go out and provide a short presentation to our staff, all of our employees across the district, and we'll provide some information on things happening in the district, our initiatives, and praise them and celebrate the work that they're doing this year. And then at Christmas, at this fall update, we give a small gift to our employees. So Todd's taking care of that. And our first update presentations are scheduled for Monday after the holiday on that first afternoon. And so I'd like to invite you to join me for one or all of those. We have a sign-up sheet coming around to the board. Want you to come hand out some gifts, shake our employees' hands, and maybe say a couple of words. And we do that in the fall and the spring, and would just love to have you there. Our employees really do love seeing you. That's it. Do you have any questions? Okay, great. Thank you.
There is a sign-up sheet for those fall presentations that's being passed around. Jeff has got it in his hot little hand. And
It's a lot of fun. And I have started to funnel some calendar invites to you, so don't be annoyed with me. You can say no if you can't come. But I think it's helpful that's a nice way to get them on your calendar without you having to type in the information yourself. So thank
We
you.
appreciate those. Thank
You're very welcome.
Okay. And the next item on our agenda is to review and discuss Campus Culture Spotlight. Tarver Elementary, Lake Belton Middle School. Presenter, Dr. Rochelle Warren. How are you this evening? Awesome.
I am pleased to be here again to share more about the fabulous work that is happening on our campuses. All of this is in support of our district priorities. And tonight we're going to focus on Tarver and Lake Belton Middle School. And once again, you're going to see that integration of multiple programs that they are embedding into the way that they do things in order to provide a safe, inclusive learning environment for all of our students. So the numbers for Tarver Elementary, in terms of demographics, the picture that paints. And in looking at this particular district priority, Ms. Tisch said that when she shared it with her music teachers, they decided they wanted to honor some of the cultures represented on campus in a unique way, which led to a 5th grade music program in which students were singing songs in English, Spanish, German, Russian, and Swahili. And in addition to giving the 5th graders an opportunity to collaborate, learning music in languages that for many of them were not their first language, it also serves as a launching point for a cultural fair that they're going to have school-wide later in the year as part of their No Place for Hate designation. And in the upper right, you'll see another example of Tarver's commitment to No Place for Hate with the rock garden that was planted previously. And you know that this is really part of the Tarver way. When a kindergartner is able to share with Dr. Kincannon during the first week of school exactly what the No Place for Hate promise is about. And essentially that promise is getting our students to pay attention to how what they say and what they do impacts their peers. And so for our youngest students to be able to articulate that to the superintendent right at the beginning of the school year, that's why you see that happy smiling face in that Tarver frame during their back to school beginning of the year work, because it matters to them, and they understand it, and they know what it's about, and they're able to act on it.
And I was so excited because I hadn't seen the promise myself. So it was good. I was really impressed.
Yeah, in my experience, whenever you want to know anything, you just ask a kindergartner.
Yeah,
They'll tell you the
absolutely.
truth. They will definitely tell you the truth. Lake Belton Middle School, the demographics there. And I do want to point out that our math is just a little bit off. It's more like 916 total students instead of 1,036. So forgive me for that math error. For Mr. Hobson's leadership team, they empowered their No Place for Hate Student Coalition to help promote a respectful and inclusive environment on their campus. And that led to the coalition creating a video that was shown during their enrichment class and advisory period, describing an interactive way for students to practice including others while minimizing the potential divisiveness of cliques. And this special way is called a Mix It Up Lunch, which they had last month, which allowed students to sit with peers with whom they didn't normally sit. They were provided some fun conversation starters, and there were extra adults in the cafeteria to help get the conversation flowing as needed. But it allowed them to interact with each other in a non-threatening way, but giving them access to peers who maybe they hadn't had a chance to meet yet, or for whatever reason hadn't crossed paths with. The coalition was probably inspired to do a video based on the work that the counselors have done this year. They have launched a video series featuring SEL lessons that are also shown during their enrichment period. The counselors are using the CASTLE framework, which stands for Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. This is the same framework that we're testing in our focus group to see if it's the right language for us here in Belton to use when we're talking about social and emotional learning. But the CASTLE framework has 5 core competencies that the counselors are using to identify topics for these SEL lessons that they're featuring in their videos. Those 5 core competencies are self-awareness, which is essentially seeing yourself through a growth mindset, believing that you are capable of growing and changing over time. Self-management, which is personal regulation. Responsible decision-making, which is being able to make constructive choices that involve more than just yourself, so paying attention to others who might be impacted by your choices. Relationship skills, which is successful engagement with others with the emphasis on successful. And social awareness, which is empathy, but also the ability to kind of move through different norms in different group settings. So knowing that what's expected of you on the soccer field is going to be really different from what's expected in your algebra class and what might be expected of you at Thanksgiving dinner, and the ability to do all of that successfully. So that serves as the catalyst for these video lessons that both the counselors and student leaders are featured in. It's fantastic to see how each week that they do this, the lessons and the formatting, the graphics, the involvement of students on campus, all of that is becoming more and more stylized, and it's exciting to see how they're growing these lessons. So during the videos, there are actual pauses that allow teachers to facilitate conversation among the students and for students to share their reflections through a journal that's kept as part of the lessons. So with both campuses tonight, you may have heard No Place for Hate as kind of an anchor, but this is one of the efforts that we have to really involve our students in being active participants in creating these safe learning environments, and it's a way for them to be not just the recipients of these extra efforts, but to really be full-fledged partners in it. So we thank Tarver and Lake Belton for their efforts, and we look forward to seeing where their students are going from here with these kinds of investments.
Thank you for that. Are you finding, as you have visited the various campuses, that these cultures are already in place and we're just highlighting them, or maybe adding just a little bit more to it, or what's your opinion on that?
With No Place for Hate in particular, the campuses, every year that they do them, they deepen them. And so they get bigger and better, and the students really take ownership of that. So it's absolutely something that's just evolving over time as students really feel like they are being heard and that they are expected to contribute to providing the safe, inclusive learning environment. And absolutely, the other things that we've highlighted as part of supporting the district priorities, this is stuff that's already in place, but there's something special about the combination this year with the power of moments, the design thinking, the really front loading of SEL as a focus, where our campuses are taking note of what they would consider routine and making sure that everyone is aware of the full benefit of doing these kinds of things. So it helps when we're able to name something so that folks understand the how and the where and the when and the why, so that it really becomes fully integrated into our efforts.
Thank you. Any board member have any questions? No? Well, thank you so much for that. That's a great report.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Next up, Mr. Doug Taylor is going to talk to us about the Anonymous Alerts Mobile Safety app.
It's purple. The student one is purple.
All right, good evening. Thank
Good
you
evening.
for letting me come and speak to you about this new technology that we've implemented here in Belton ISD. As you know, Dr. Warren's talked about it. One of our top priorities here at Belton ISD for this year is maintaining that supportive campus, creating and maintaining that supportive campus cultures and environments with a priority on safety and security for that. She talked about initiatives that we already have, design thinking, No Place for Hate, programs that are designed to provide intervention for kids that are in need, students that are in need, and many others. So when we looked at this, we looked at it as another need to have some way to encourage students, staff, community members, parents to tell us their security concerns or concerns they might have about what's going on in those schools or around the schools and things like that. So we looked for a tool, a communication tool that would help us do that. And we came upon anonymous alerts. And I did some research on this. I talked with numerous school districts in Texas, including here in the Central Texas area, that already use it. And really felt like this was going to be a great tool for us and empower the community and the kids particularly to be able to speak out when something that they saw is not right or that needs to be fixed or needs to be addressed in a manner. So we looked at this anonymous alerts. We went to our campus administrators and shared it with them. We went to our district safety committee as well, shared it with them. Really got some good positive feedback from them, and we went ahead and decided to do a 2-year agreement with them and have implemented it. On November 1st or 2nd, South Belton Middle School was kind of our guinea pigs. They kind of did our soft opening. Mr. Taylor can probably attest to it. They got numerous reports of a wide variety of things that were going on. Some might not be considered serious, some pretty serious, and they were able to provide some intervention in those ways, things that we might not have never known about. But the kids felt that it was safe, and even one of the kids said they didn't know how they were going to tell this until this came along, and they were able to communicate what was going on in their life and the lives of the students around them, and intervention was able to happen. So I think there's already some success stories, and I just look in the future that there's going to be many more. So so how does it work? Well, it comes in two, let's say it comes in two. There's two ways to report. You can do it on an app base. This is the picture of the app right here of what it looks like if you log into the reporting app. It's available on iTunes, the Google Play Store, things like that. You can download. It's free to download. Anybody can download it. And it's pretty simple. There's help resources that we've put in there. It can be drug, alcohol, anti-bullying, mental health, teen suicide hotlines that are available to call, that have their information at the touch of their, right on their hands. And there's one-click anonymous reporting. They write down what's going on, what they want to report. It's one click, and it goes to the appropriate people that can help. So there's a drop-down list that they can pick. It'll pick the school that they go to or the school that they're talking about. They'll put in the information, and it'll click, and it'll go to those campus administrators that will get it really instantly and be able to deal with it depending on what the matter is right then. So there's a message center. There's two-way communication. Even if they stay anonymous, we can still communicate back with them, and they can still give us information. They can upload screenshots or videos or pictures to this app, and the administrators are able to get those and look at them and kind of have a real-time evidence, I guess you would say, depending on what was reported and what's going on. So, so that's the app right there, what it looks like if you open the app on your phone. We have pushed the app out to all our student devices, particularly the iPads that students have. It's on there. Most of them have been trained in it. And I'll show you the video here in just a little bit of what the video they saw to learn how to use the app. There's also web-based. So there's a link already up on our website that they can click, and it takes them to this page right here, and they can do the same thing. So if they're not with their phone or their iPad, they're at a computer, parents, community members can still click this link and still communicate with the school about issues that are going on. They have in both of them, they have the option of remaining anonymous or identifying themselves. It's usually just a slide button. They can identify themselves, and we have mostly parents that have chosen to identify themselves when they're reporting something so far. Most of the kids have not, although we had a couple of instances where the kids did identify themselves in what they were reporting. So this is kind of the instant workflow chart. This is how they report. A student or whoever reports in real time. It goes to school officials. We have the option as a school officials, if it is a serious enough report, that we can send that information straight to law enforcement, SRO, law enforcement, if we need to, and they'll have all the information we have. And we'll be able to talk with that person as well in those situations to get more information if they need that. And then we have the ability to intervene. Most of the time, it's just campus administrators that are intervening, but we have the ability to forward on to law enforcement if we need to, if it's that serious enough of a report that they need to do their intervention as well to stop or prevent whatever might happen or what could happen. So there is a second app. Now this is not, this is the administrator mobile app, or we call the instant management app. All our administrators have this, and this lets them right on their phone answer these and work this problem. So if they get a report, they can go into this app, they can communicate through this app. They don't have to go find their computer or anything like that. They can do it right there on the fly. All our administrators have this app and have been trained in how to use it. And I could say it's pretty easy, Kevin, pretty user-friendly?
Yeah, it's pretty.
And so they get them, and they've gotten a lot of them here at South Belton, and are able to respond in a timely manner and take care of whatever the issue it is. So.
So Doug, the purple icon on your iPhone is the student app?
The red one is the student app,
Red is student and the
Yeah.
purple
is the administrator app.
And if you are not an administrator or a student, you would need to log on to the computer if
You
you
can-
wanted to report
You can still download the app,
Which one, we would do the student one?
the student line. We call it the student app. It's just the reporting app, the red app.
Okay.
It's the reporting app anybody can use.
All right, I was trying to do that and it was asking for a PIN number. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you would,
It's Belton ISD. We're trying to get it put back on this. We're working with Anonymous Alerts to put this on this page when they hit the link. And it's Belton ISD. It's all, no spaces.
no caps.
No caps, just Belton ISD, and that's the PIN number to get into the reporting one. And we'll have that up on that site hopefully here within 24 hours or so people will know that as far as downloading the app. The kids know that, and they've been trained in it, so they know that, and they're reporting. So again, this app, the incident management app, allows us to do really a lot of things. We can forward it to law enforcement. Administrators can record notes in it about what they did. We can actually come up with analytics and trending, put it into pie charts of how many reports we're getting, what they tend to be. It helps us look kind of like at what our trends are in our schools and what we could look forward to hopefully preventing those in the future. And it also, we can put, really this thing is customizable. We can put emergency procedures on there for the administrators if we need to. Just a really customizable app that as we go along, I'm sure we'll open up and start utilizing it in many other ways as well. So we have, on our advertising, we have this video that we are showing all the kids, and the teachers have seen it as well. We're advertising on social media. The link's up on our website already under safety. Posters, these posters on the left have been printed, and they are around most of the schools, particularly the secondary schools. The posters are up. Advertising this, letting the kids know that there's an option to speak out as well. And we're going to play the video now. This is the video that we're using to train our kids. It was given to us by Anonymous Alerts, but we kind of customize it a little bit for ourselves as well.
Safety reporting app called Anonymous Alerts.
The app is available to all Belton students, staff, and community members to confidentially submit reports of bullying or any other safety issue.
By opening the app or even clicking on the link in your school's homepage, anyone can submit a report including text, pictures, or screenshots directly to your principal.
All district-issued devices will have the app installed, but anyone can download the app from the Apple or Android App Store.
School safety starts with us, the students. With Anonymous Alerts, we have the power to make a difference.
If you see something, say something.
And do something by submitting a report with Anonymous Alerts.
Welcome, students, to Anonymous Alerts, the award-winning, patented anti-bullying and safety reporting app and system developed for students. Anonymous Alerts is an exciting new way for students to send in important incident reports to school administrators. Examples of what can be reported include bullying, cyberbullying, fighting, drug or alcohol-related issues, and more. And now, we'll show you how to send an incident report on the app. First, you have to download the Anonymous Alerts mobile app on Apple, Android, or Chromebook. Go into the App Store, Google Play Store, or Chrome Store and search for Anonymous Alerts. Click on the result that says Anonymous Alerts and consists of a red app icon with the words Anonymous Alerts. Once there, install the app. Next, open the app on your device and enter the activation code provided by your school and displayed on posters to log in. With Anonymous Alerts, you can send an incident report, access My Message Center, view help and resources, and dial an emergency phone number. Let's start with sending an incident report. We will be using bullying as an example of something you might report. First, we'll need to select who's making the report. We'll select student. Next, we will select what building this incident occurred in. Let's select the high school. Now we have to choose an incident type. We're going to choose bullying. Next, we need to provide an incident report message. This should be written with as much detail as possible. You should include information like the date, time, location, incident type, who was involved, and any other helpful information. An example message would be, for the past few weeks, I've seen Susie Smith being bullied by Jane Doe on bus 25. There are also hurtful and mean comments being posted on Facebook. After you finish typing the report message, you have the option to submit the report anonymously or non-anonymously. If you wish to report non-anonymously, you would tap the toggle and input additional information below. This additional information may consist of your name, email address, or cell phone texting number. Once you've sent your message, you can attach a photo, video, or screenshot to the report. Although this is not required, it is helpful to administrators if they have more documentation. You will then receive a confirmation code ensuring you that your message has been sent and received. Next, we'll take a look at My Message Center. Here, you can view previously submitted incident reports and click one from the list to access the anonymous, two-way conversation with school administrators. In this conversation, you can share additional information about the incident back and forth and remain 100% anonymous. Just like that, sending and replying to incident reports is quick and easy. And now we'll show you another easy way to send an incident report, this time through the computer. Here's an example of a website where you can submit incident reports. This can be accessed through your district or school's website. It is important to know that if the situation is an emergency, please call 911 as shown here. Next, another crucial thing to know is the monitoring hours. This is when school staff will be directly overseeing the reports and system. An example is shown here. Any reports submitted outside of these hours or during holidays will be responded to during the following normally scheduled school day. And now we'll send in an anonymous incident report. First, we'll select the submitter type of who we are. We'll say student. Next, we'll select the school building we are in. We'll say the middle school. Last, we'll select what incident type to report. Let's select bullying. And now we'll type out the report details. Remember, within the details, you can further describe the situation and include additional information. Here, for example, we'll say, during lunch for the past few weeks, I've seen Anthony Smith bullying and mocking John Doe in the cafeteria. Below the text box, you can click the button here to attach a photo, video, or screenshot from social media. Once finished, click Submit at the bottom. Your report has been submitted, indicated by the 5-digit confirmation code here. In order for you to be anonymously contacted by your school, the email address or cell phone texting number you put in here will be immediately encrypted so you can have a private, anonymous, two-way conversation. If you want to reveal your identity and have a non-anonymous conversation with a school administrator, you would put your name here, along with your email address or cell phone texting number. We'll stay anonymous and put in the email address here. When finished, click the Submit button at the bottom of the page. And your report is complete and everything is sent. Once again though, it is important that for emergencies, please call 911 if help is needed. And that's it. Remember, as a student, you can make your world a safer place, one classroom at a time.
All right, and so that's the basic overview of the system. It went, I want to say live. It was already operational, but officially operational today for the entire district. But many of the campuses have already started receiving, word gets out that it's out there, and many of the campuses have already started receiving reports of certain things. But it's official today. It's out on the devices. The kids know about it, and we're ready to go. So, any questions?
Just on the back end, when the reports are received at each of the campuses, or is it the principal that's getting those reports? Or are they the ones that will take the next step to act upon those reports?
So every administrator actually gets them, as well as myself and Pete Ramirez. We also get everyone from every school. So somebody's always going to see it. Now, there are some certain instances that counselors will get them as well, depending on what is reported. But an administrator in that school every one of the administrators in that school get all the reports. So it's more than one person that's going to be looking at it. Now, if it's a big campus like the high school, the principal can assign it to a specific administrator to handle or investigate and look into. So
It allows you to customize it to who gets it, and multiple people can get it.
All right.
I think, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was playing with it earlier today, and I noticed the list of incident types is fairly robust. Is that something that we control, or is that?
It is. We looked at, there was a lot more that you could add. I kind of tried to streamline it a little bit to fit everything that we might get. But then I can always, we can change that, add or take stuff away that's in there.
I'm almost wondering if it's too much, right? You get like 3 pages of categories you can pick from, but yeah. Okay.
I think it'll be interesting to note after we've used it for some time, what the numbers are. What type of incidents have been most reported, if there were major things going on. Maybe we could have something like that shared out with the board, maybe after, I don't know, a couple of months of usage.
Well, I can tell you, we've already had more tips on this than we had on our tip line that we had in place for a very long while. So the kids feel freer to report on this system where it's right on their phone than they did by texting in a number that we had before.
What an awesome opportunity for those who don't feel compelled to speak up or are just fearful for whatever the reasons are. So that's great.
If it's a more along the lines of mental health, like someone's concerned about a friend possibly being suicidal, or does that go specifically to the counselor, or does that go to the principal as well? I'm just wondering.
It goes to, probably in that case, it would go to both. The principal gets everything for that campus. They'll see everything. Counselor gets mental health type things and other things that more along the line of their expertise.
My question, I'm asking that because I'm wondering if students might be more inclined to report that to the counselor, but be afraid that it's going to go to the principal. I realize that it should go to both individuals, but is there any way to customize that just a little bit, that maybe that would open the door for a student that sees someone? It could go to the counselor first, and they just might feel more comfortable reporting it that way.
It's completely customizable that way, and we can look at that. It'd have to be advertised that way, that if you report this, it's going to go to this person. And right now, we're not advertising who it goes to per se, that it's just going to a school official.
Very first tip, I believe, was, I can't see Kevin back there, but was related to more of a mental health issue, and we were able to help a student, and maybe, I think, 2 students as a result of it.
Just feel like I should bring this up. Janet and I today went to a funeral from one of our classmates' sons because of mental issues and bullying and all those type of things. So this is exciting to hear that we can be there to help. Because I know when these kids get boxed in, we handle things differently. We get bullied at school. At least we got to go home back in the old days and we liked ourselves at home maybe. But these devices go with these kids everywhere, and it's constant. So this is awesome.
I agree.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Doug.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Okay, so next up are issues concerned for future agenda or administrative reports. Anybody have anything for that particular area? No? We won't do a poll, but okay. We'll just move on. The next item after next item on the agenda is a student discipline appeal. Under the Texas Open Meetings Act, the hearing will be conducted in closed session unless the student's parent or guardian requests in writing in advance that the hearing be held in open session. No such request has been received, so the board will now adjourn to hear an expulsion appeal according to board policy FOD legal and to consult with the district's attorney regarding the appeal as provided in sections 551.071 and 551.082 of the Texas Government Code. Okay, the board is reconvening in open session at 8:09 p.m. Is the reporter on? At this time, I move that the board uphold the administration's decision. May I have a second, please? All approved? That passes unanimously. This concludes the disciplinary appeal, and thank you all for your testimonies and appreciate it. Before we adjourn the evening, revisit our future events, I didn't discuss them earlier. Thank you. Future events for the board, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. State Representative Hugh Shine will hold his monthly meeting at the Belton Chamber. On November 14th, we've got college signings at 5 in the weight room. Community Pet Rally, Tiger Field, 6:30. Next week is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you enjoy your time with your families. You all had the opportunities to look at the fall update schedule. Please attend as many of those as you can. Public forums, we talked about those earlier, December 4th, 10th, and the 13th. Not board meetings, not posted as board meetings. However, we're all encouraged to attend. Watch your calendars. Busy holiday times are leading up to December 19th, and our next regular board meeting is on December 17th. That concludes our board meeting for the night. It is 11. You guys have a good evening.